1 minute warning!
To the goofball army out there, hi the families, tell them to get to the next room, tell them to go to your neighbors, because we got goofball news to go over, and it might get crazy!
Typically does, guys. If it's your first episode ever, you got like 30 seconds before we start, so not enough time to go to the bathroom, but go get a drink, because trust me, you're probably going to need it there. In the meantime, the rest, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. That way you know about future episodes as well, guys. Buckle your seatbelts if you haven't already. Make sure your tray is in the upright position here, guys, because we are just about ready to get going. And like, oof.
Guys, if you want a crazy ride going forward, a bunch of nonsense, but all nothing but the truth about the Giants, listen in, buckle in, tell a friend.
Let's go.
And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, the New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm Rob, with a special guest, Mr. Coach.
Coach Ed Gladney here. How's it going, man?
It's going well. How about you guys? How's everything with you?
It'd be nice if I can get more sleep, maybe perhaps lower my cholesterol, but that's a whole separate issue that just like not going to be solved in this program here. Yeah, this is not going to be. Trust me, being a Giants fan does not help anything medical. I feel like at any point, way, shape, or form. Especially like blood pressure. That's the one thing that's definitely going to be hurt as a Giants fan.
Yeah, my doctor started talking about hypertension. I mean, I thought I was too young for that, but whatever.
But first off, let me be the first to assure you are not too young for that. Yeah, I'm giving it away. Giving it away. Yep. It's time. It was that the floor is creeping on you. That floor is creeping.
I got some time.
No. It's coming. It's coming. Once the 3 goes away. Listen, 30's when you start to die. 40's when like reality set in and just say screw it. I'm old.
Whoa. Listen, I was competitor up to 32.
You guys are babies. I'm pushing to the 6 soon.
It's all good. I guess to a point where, like I said, people just ask my age. I'm like old. Done. That's just what I'm. Just like old.
I'm like fine wine. I get better with time.
I'm more like that wine that the cork was taken out and like you forgot about it. It was at the back of the fridge for a few years.
Vinegar. It's called vinegar.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Or like that apple cider that wasn't originally a hard apple cider, but got left out for too long.
That's good to drink now. That's good to drink. I'm sorry. Apple cider vinegar. Yeah.
I have done. Yeah. No, not vinegar. Apple cider.
Yeah,
hard
apple cider.
No. Yeah. The fermented kind.
It's the fermented.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting thirsty. Anyway, guys, we got some Giants news to talk about here. We got to talk about the rest of the post-game coverage here from Saturday. Listen, we always do our post-game where we give our kind of immediate thoughts. Then Monday we come back and assess and look at some things here. You guys asked for us to look at some things specifically in the game, especially Marcus Bowe. So we're going to do a segment fully on him as well. We talk about some of the thoughts from Brian Dable after the game as well, and also on his press conference he had there on Sunday. Got some leadership there from Russell Wilson we want to go over there with you guys. Plus, talk about the battle that was announced there by Joe Schoen that we all knew was going on, but a formally announced battle now by Joe Schoen there at the CB2 position. And we got to talk about everybody's favorite running back right now, Turbo time. No. So sit back, relax, guys. The show is about to start. All right, let's break right into it here, guys. Talking about Brian Dable, talking about the play calling. That's been a big topic, I feel like, for Giants fans for years now, is the whole who's going to call the plays, where are they going to call the plays from, all that kind of stuff there, because that's been an issue now for a little while. I'm pressing the wrong buttons here. I don't know what's going on here. Like I talked about hard cider before. Now I'm pressing the wrong buttons here on the screen.
Have you hard cider yet?
Dude, I love it. You know what? Hold on. Well, we're going to start the topic in a second. I'm going to sidetrack here, but I know you guys can be shocked that I'm going to sidetrack. Let me just pop down a riddle and tell you kids a story. So,
Uncle Drew here.
So I went yesterday to Aldi. Okay, now It's gotten to the point because I live here in Florida. I refuse to shop at Publix because it's goddamn ridiculously expensive. I hate shopping at Walmart because they treat the employees like crap. So I try to do all my shopping I can at Aldi, Trader Joe's, Costco's, places like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to Aldi and there's a black cherry hard cider, and I'm like, oh, hold on a second here. Disappointed. I could barely finish the one can of it, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't go for it. It's not good. If you go to Aldi's and you see a black cherry cider, do not be fooled. It's not good. It's like barely any apple taste to it. That's the problem. It's like someone watered down the hard cider and then just threw some little bit of black cherry flavor into it. Not so good. Anyway, guys. I know I shocked me, got sidetracked. My mini fridge is empty. I forgot to fill my mini fridge I have here on the desk. Anyway, guys, back to the topic at hand. So, again, Giants fans have been talking for a while now about play calling. That's been a big issue. Initially, when Brian Daboll got hired by the Giants, some people may remember, he said very specifically, I don't want to call the plays. I want to focus on the team. He wants somebody from above calling it. That's what he said. But then his ego got the best of him. Play calling got taken away from Kafka. Then it got given back to Kafka. Then it got taken away from Kafka. Then at one point in 23, even gave the play calling abilities to Shea Tierney, the quarterback coach, even for a short amount of time. Last year, he pretty much called the plays from the get-go all the way through there. Well, that's not one of the things they were talking about. Is are the Giants going to go ahead and give the play calling ability back to Kafka, who quite frankly needs to have it? There was a lot of issues last year, obviously, with play calling. Don't even started on 2-point conversions, like the one against the Steelers. I will never forget that as well. That's like right up there with like the kneeling down late in the season there towards the end of Joe Judge. That's how bad that play was. So this year, though, they said Kafka is going to call the plays, and it's never been announced officially by the Giants, but all the media members have been saying, yeah, that's what they keep hearing there. So that's what's been going on all training camp, all the the OTAs, and now into that first preseason game. The oddity was Kafka was calling plays, but not from the booth. He was on the sidelines calling the plays. A little different there. I can't remember the last time the Giants had a guy on the sidelines that was the offensive coordinator, not the head coach, calling plays. I'm trying to think when it was, and I'm doing it in my head, like going back and trying to think, and I want to say, was it Sean Payton? Did Sean Payton call the plays, even though he wasn't the OC back then, from the sidelines?
No, I think it was, what's his name, who became head coach? What's his name? I'm forgetting him already.
You're going McAdoo?
McAdoo, yes.
We want to forget his name.
Yes.
I felt like that was the Harry Potter dude. I didn't want to say his name. I was thinking of.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember. I think he was on the sideline quite often.
Was he? There we go then. Here we go. I know Kevin Gilbride was at some points too. So, but it's been a couple years now since we've seen that. It was addressed by Daboll on Sunday's press conference. He said, it's something we talked about in the offseason. I think it went well. There was good communication. We'll see what we do this week. That's what these preseason games are for, operational-wise. I was pleased how things went. And you know what? I give him credit. He's not wrong in that. People forget. Like, it's a preseason for everybody, not just the players. Let me be the first to assure you guys, if you watch the game, it was quite obviously preseason for the referees, especially trying to figure out the yardage. Because that one that they pulled out the electronic sticks for, instead of actually pulling a chain, it felt like it took half an hour to figure out if it was a first down or not. And we all knew it wasn't a first down. We all knew. Like, it was a good 3/4 of a yard, at least, away from being a first down still. They just wanted to try to use their fancy new toy, their electronic chain there.
It's also preseason for electronic toys. Like,
yes.
Like
I don't want to. I'm a little concerned of where you're about to go with this, Rob.
I want to make sure
we're not merging WNBA coverage, are we? I'm just making sure.
No.
Oh my!
I know. Did you see their spanning purses and
wait, what?
They're banning baggage. Not just purses, baggage going into the NBA or WNBA.
Are you suggesting they're banning sacks at the game?
They are. Somehow those toys will keep sneaking in.
I've done enough.
We gotta get off the topic here. We're back to the subject at hand here.
So get firm and go forward with this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of that one. Back to the other thing here. Anyway, he was asked more about it. He said, I think it's an individual preference. I think there's probably pros and cons for each spot, calling upstairs versus calling downstairs. There's different things you're less emotional when you're upstairs, more calm environment. You can see maybe more a part of the field a little bit better. So, you know what? He's not wrong in that as well. There is definitely the pros and cons of both sides. And I kind of like what they're doing because I like the idea of if Kafka is calling the plays. I like the idea of Kafka also not just calling the plays, but being there with Jackson Dart. So that way he can show him, I'm calling this play. This is why I'm calling that play. And it gets Dart a chance to go ahead and understand the offense a little better. And it gives him kind of that spot for a little more tutelage. Plus, he gets to see from Russell Wilson when the offensive drives are over, the three of them can kind of get together and talk about it as well. So I really do like that perspective of it, that's for sure.
And let's not forget where Kafka came from. Like, he was a QB coach for Mahomes. So, like, you turn around and not saying that Dart's Mahomes, but, like, you work with a guy to show him, like, hey, this is what you're looking for. This is what you want to do. Like, you kind of want that on the sidelines. You really can't do that from the booth.
Well, when you do have a rookie quarterback, it's good to have your OC down there. Now, if it was Russell Wilson, I could understand more him being up in the booth because Russell Wilson also knows, let me pick up the phone, I can talk to him that way, so you don't have the distractions there. But when you're down there on the sideline, yes, it's good to be with your rookie quarterback. But on the flip side, you're right there in the trenches that when the guys come off the field, you can start talking to them. What's going on out there? What is the guy across from you doing? How are they lined up? What are you seeing? So that way your thought process into the game plan, even though it's preseason, but you still go through a thought process, comes a little bit quicker than, you know what? Let me talk to my position coach, and my position coach talks to me, or let me go find the phone to talk to the OC. You're right there. They can come right to you. So
Yeah,
and I feel like
make a great point because that was one of the biggest takeaways. Like we picking about the draft is, can he read the field? What's he picking up on the field? Is he slow processing? So when you have the ability of your offensive coordinator that was a pretty good QB coach come over and start talking to you right away on the field, hey, what'd you see? How'd you see it? How'd you process that? And that really sharpens those. And it's not even bad plays either. It's coming off of good plays. Hey, how'd you read that? How'd you get that conclusion?
Exactly.
That's what you want to look for.
Yeah. And what I like about it, too, is the fact that he can also see Dart's face. Because, listen, we all know at some point Dart's going to go on the field. Like, that's going to happen. Like, I'd love for him to sit as long as possible and learn as long as possible. But at some point, barring any kind of crazy playoff run, at that point, you're going to probably see him go ahead and get in the game. And, playoffs! But he's going to want to go ahead
and win a game.
And Kafka went ahead and see his face, see his eyes, and see what actually is going on in this kid's mind. You can lie on the phone. That's very easy to do. Let's be honest. How many of us have dealt with somebody and you think you're getting into an interaction because of a phone conversation, and you get face to face, and it's completely different. We've all been there. It's a nice thing to be able to see this kid's face like that. And guys, there'll be other people obviously upstairs. Like it's not like they're to give the upstairs part of it away. David was asked about that. He said, we have a number of guys, we have a big staff, so there's a number of guys that are upstairs. Again, I thought the communication really in all three phases was good. The information, and again, that's what these games are for. We haven't coached in however long it is. We have new people on the staff, and that's what part of these games are for too. It's so we get aligned and make sure our communication process is right for our players. So yeah, I like the move. I think it's a good move overall for the development of Jackson Dart, number one. But I also think the other thing we should probably mention in this as well is this probably also keeps Dable in the fold a little more and probably eases him from, trying to rip the reins back off of Kafka. Because you can say it's more collaborative when you're right next to the guy who keeps trying to take that, away from you,
Good point. I mean, in terms of calming Dable down, because I understand sometimes he gets emotional. And yes, you're right. You get tempted and you know what? I'm taking over, and I'm doing what I got to do. You turn your headset off when Kafka's trying to speak and You make all the calls right then and there. So, but when he's on the sideline, it also stops confusion with the players, because now the head coach and the OC, you're not going to battle on the field in front of the players. You're just not, So you're at least going to say, let's do it, let's handle it during the week if you want to make changes at that point in time. But yeah, excellent point. And seeing Dart, a rookie quarterback, never even thought about that. That's a phenomenal point.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of benefits, and I really don't see a downfall as long as you. And I mean, when I say you, I mean you as Kafka. If Kafka trusts the people upstairs, tell him what they're seeing. That's the only potential bad dynamic of that situation, But I got to imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember correctly, Shea Tierney is usually up there, and he's been with them the entire Dable era. So now you're talking going into year 4. So those two, you don't really hear much about Shea Tierney and as far as relationship with Kafka specifically, but you have to imagine going into year 4, there's at least somewhat of a working relationship at that point where those two should be able to function in that regard. So I really don't see the risk. I like it a lot. And like I said, the big thing for me, even above the Dart thing, like I said, is them potentially keeping the ego and the attitude of Brian Dable in check, because love it or hate it, that's just part of who he is. And we're going to love it when he's winning, and we're going to hate it when he's losing. Let's be very frank. That's what happens. Everybody in 22, when he's going nuts in the sideline, was like, oh, this was great. That's my coach. Look at him getting all fiery and yelling. Yeah. But as soon as he started losing, like, that guy can't control himself. Like, it's the same reaction, guys.
To me, it's always how. Whether you're winning or losing, how. I mean, if you're too maniacal and you're totally losing, I don't care if you're winning by 100 points. That's going to come back to bite you. I've seen it so many times throughout my career, and I get where you're going, but no, if I don't care if you're winning, if you're out of control, it's going to come back to bite you. So, and I admit I've been very harsh on him, because that's one of my things. Yes, I've thrown clipboards on the sideline, but then again, I can calm down, and then I can pull the guys together, and I can say, this is why. This is why I went like this. And then that should be the end of it. So,
is it just me, or is it clipboard should be in the shape of like boomerangs? So when you throw them on the sidelines, they come back to you. Just throwing it out there.
It'll
throwing it out as an option.
Yeah, it might stop. Let's throw throwing it. Yeah, you're right about that.
I'm going on Shark Tank with this. I'm going on Shark Tank. Do.
But Coach, you're absolutely right. And listen, and as a coach, every person's different. Like, you can't always. Some people need that aggressiveness. They need that thrown in their face. But you also have to baby some people and change their diapers and to throw them back on the field. That's just how you get the best out of some people. Like, this is how you coach. And some people you just have to be very analytical with. They're just like, hey, this is what you did. This is how it goes. That's it. No demeanor, no change. Just go on your way. Like,
that's life in any management position. That's what a coach is. A coach is a manager. You are managing your employees. Those are your employees. And every time anybody who's been in any kind of management position knows you can't talk to every single person the same way. They're going to react differently. You have to figure out, and it's almost like a relationship. Like, you're kind of figuring out like their love language, so to speak. Like, you're trying to figure out what do they respond to. And also at the same point, what do they shut down to? Because you want to make sure if you do that once they shut down, you don't do that again. And everybody's got their different mentalities like that, and you got to learn the personalities. And that's part of the hardest things of being a leader, whether it's as a player, as a coach, or as anything in life in general, is trying to figure out how to motivate people in different ways based on what actually does get them motivated.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, let's get to the comments real quick, and then we're getting to Dable talking about stuff that I'm just too old to even know about, apparently. So, some of y'all might need to still even know what it is. I got to be honest with you. I looked it up, and I'm still not sure I know 100% what it is. That's how old I am. Mac, the Giant fan, says, what up, fellas? What's up, man? And guys, again, if you haven't already, go on to Mac the Giants fans page as well. And give him a like and subscribe as well. He's going to be on the show later this week as well, too. So, Jay says, Coach Ed, NYC legend, damn straight. Amal Perry, salute, Coach. See, Coach's getting all the love. We're just like two schlubs. We just like it off the screen here.
Like two goofballs over here or something.
Yeah. That's like, Coach, just take over from here. You got this. Jay says, never mess with those weird beers, dude, from those hipster stores. You're 45 years old. You should know better. First off, I'm not 45, goddammit. I'm still 42. Second off, I don't know if I call Aldi a hipster store. Like this, like Trader Joe's is more the hipster version of Aldi's because that's actually owned by the same family. It's two brothers.
I was about to say.
Actually, in Germany, they have the same name, the stores.
You know how they diverse? Like why they separate?
Because they thought it'd be too confusing to have the two different the two stores that are based the same name here in America. Is what I was told. Okay, so sidetracked. Anyway,
two brothers ran it, and they kind of bought each other out. One wanted to sell cigarettes, one didn't. And when they came to America, that was the difference.
It's all about smokes.
Yep.
Okay.
And that was
stuff.
like,
crazy stuff.
40 years ago, now no one smokes anymore. You can't buy them in stores.
No, but if you go to Germany, actually both stores have the same name. I don't know if it's Aldi or Trader Joe's, but they both have the same name actually.
Probably
they just have something a little different to it. But like I said, they thought it'd be confusing to go to America and do that. Anyways, we get off grocery talk here. Jay says, cringy Russ leash just got much shorter. It did not. Don't kid yourself, Jay. I know you don't like Russ, but I don't think Dable's going, he looked good in that preseason game. Let's just go ahead and not play Russell Wilson this season at all. Like that leash is not any shorter. He's going to play when he's ready. That's what it boils down to. He will play when he's ready, whether it's week 7, week 10. We'll find out. And it's also going to depend, obviously, on how the Giants and Russell Wilson are doing, too. Russell Wilson's playing good. We're in a playoff hunt. Guess what? Dark ain't coming in. Sean says, hey, guys, if Bo does well in next preseason game, do you see him beating out Hudson for backup swing tackle? We're going to talk about that in a little bit. We got another segment talking about Bo specifically here. So, Jason, we certainly are due to hit on late round linemen. It's been like 20 years. I'm going to give you another one. We're certainly due to hit on linemen. Regardless of what round, lineman. Andrew Thomas is the only one we've had in the last 20 years, I feel like, at this point. It's been that long. Obviously, I'm exaggerating. It's been 20 years, but...
No, we know.
But, yeah, it hasn't been a great track record, that's for sure. Anthony, what's up? I hope Bo beats out Hudson. He is horrific. We'll agree on the horrific part there. But, again, we'll get to that part in a minute here. Sean says, is it a legit shot? Jay says, yeah, last time I saw Rob acting aggressively was when there was just one slice of prime rib left at the Golden Corral. Oh, my God. Ghost Dogs, Big Talk. What's up, man? He says, you're a peace and salute to Drew, Rob, and Coach. See, he didn't exclude us. Enter the chat. Giants 83. Watch out for Thomas Fedone. He could be, if he stays healthy, he could be a huge weapon. That's a big if, guys. Again, 2 ACL tears saved me. That's a ticking time bomb waiting to happen, guys. I think for him, it's going to be a very short career because eventually you're playing in MetLife. You know what you're probably going to do? Tear an ACL. I hate to say it, but that's what we do. Now it's our Achilles injuries, too. That's the new one. Maybe one day we'll convince the Giants to get grass. Probably never.
Yeah, grass.
Probably never. Yeah, exactly. So, but one day, hopefully. Anthony says, Jay, you have to accept that Russ is our quarterback for the start of the season. Thank you, Anthony. And then Ghost Dogs Big Talk says, Bo is looking more and more like a late round steal. Anthony says, I don't think Fedone will be a weapon, maybe a tool. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how you want to use the terminology. I don't think he's going to be a star, that's for sure. It's just, will he be a legitimate backup tight end? It's impressive catches. But again, it's one preseason game.
It is. It's only one preseason game, but also remember, one of the most important tools out there is called the hammer. And if used incorrectly, it's also a weapon. So it could be both.
That's true. People have died by getting hit in the head by a hammer, I've heard. I have not been around it.
Listen,
Coach, I want to shoot the murderer.
You'll find out very fast.
Yes. In part 2 of Two Giant Goofballs.
I've seen a lot in my lifetime, so trust and believe.
Oh, yeah. Deb says, people need to pump the brakes on Dart. It's one preseason game, but plays designed for him to be successful and build confidence. Exactly. You can notice he really didn't throw it down the field very often. He counted on a lot of yak yards. And again, not trying to take away from the kid. Great game. great game, but if you take out the touchdown throw, which obviously is his most important throw, he almost got intercepted once, which are changed to the whole entire stat line, and most of his yards, well, a lot of it was yards after catch. So, Jay says, stop being a hater, Deb. She's not being a hater. She's being a realist. There's a difference, guys. There's a difference. All right. Let's get to the next one here. As Brian Dable drops a 6-7 in the press conference here. And guys, listen, if you don't know what 6-7 is, join the club here. Because I had to Google this. I noticed it when I saw the press conference the first time late on Saturday, because we did our post game right after the game, so I didn't get a chance to see that part live. But he was talking about, he said talking about Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart said he was mid on his game there. Now, if you don't know what mid means, I'll start with that. I feel like this is going to be weird. Me, the least hip person out there, teaching all the lingo of the youth here. It's like really bad. It's like me at 6'7", telling people how to be short. But I just realized 6'7". Ooh, I just realized that. Hold on.
Yeah.
But anyway, Brian Dable said you got to ask him,
that, bro.
He says you got to ask him what mid means. And then he says 6-7 at the end, and nobody realized it to the very end of the thing, and it was kind of very confused. Now, again, mid just means funny. It was very average. It was average. Mm-hmm. That's what it means here. Okay, That one makes sense. Not like the phrase that always gets me, and I get ticked off whenever I hear it. People say it's been a minute. A minute is a very short amount of time. If it's been a minute, it hasn't been that long. The whole phrase makes no sense. I'm getting off my soapbox here. Anyway, 6-7 is apparently slang for. And this is bad. It's like there's a Webster's like kind of thing on it. Confusion, disarray, or disorganization. So apparently it became popular amongst the young kids and gained popularity from the Skrilla song Doot Doot. Now I couldn't tell you who the hell the Skrilla is or Doot Doot. I don't think I know a single song with the words Doot and Doot that weren't like Frankie Valli or something like those lines at that point, okay? And somehow I don't think the Skrilla and Frankie Valli are doing a song together. It doesn't seem like it'd be the matchup, but who knows? Elton John and Ozzy Osbourne did a song together at one point. You never know.
They also were from the same like genre. You're talking about Frankie Valli. You're talking from the 50s.
Well, hold on. Elton John and Ozzy Osbourne are not the same genre. Let's stop that. For a second. You got poppy piano music frame. And the Prince of Freaking Darkness.
All right. When did Elton John start his music career? I meant from the same time frame.
Okay, the same genre. Okay, generation. Yes, they're both because I'm. If someone feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Elton John was like the middle 70s when he started. And Ozzy, I can tell you for sure, was the very, very beginning of the 70s. 1970, I believe, is the first Black Sabbath album.
Pretty sure Elton is mid-early 70s.
I said mid.
Elton.
So now, who would have thought today we'd be looking at Elton John's first album?
Apparently
it was called Empty Sky, and it was 1969, actually. Okay, I take it back. He's been singing longer than Ozzy. Wow. Anyway, even to us to start talking about
same time frame still.
Yeah. But we're trying to talk about hip. We're talking about hip things, and somehow we got the topic of Elton John, which I think is definitely not considered hip by the kids nowadays.
No,
except he was in the second Kingsman movie, so therefore that's hip.
Bro, that was
and of course we all know, and we all know it's hip to be square. But anyway,
6-7 the new kids that listen to the podcast.
I'm going to say this: I haven't heard anybody use the terminology hip in decades. I'll be honest. I've heard it's popping, it's popular, it's going on.
I told you I am the least hip person there is. I admit it freely.
Exactly.
Just by saying that, I prove it.
So I mean, but I get it. I understand. See, I can understand. So
yes.
I'm older than you. So
Coach can translate for me.
I get the meaning. So, but
yeah. What was the one that that neighbor said the day we were like making fun of him for? He said fly today. Remember he was talking about Jackson Dart?
Oh he said fly. Ago, right?
And we're like fly. Who the hell says fly anymore? Like
yeah, really. That was when I was in.
And that was neighbors. Neighbors is 21. He's still not.
I brought the fly.
Right. He's not quite 22.
It's like
yeah.
I remember the song "Fly Girl." So
and now all the fly girls are collecting Social Security. So I mean, seriously, it's like
hey, watch it. I'm not collecting Social Security yet. No.
Well, Jango's what, like 56, 57, around there?
Yeah,
Like she's getting up there in the 50s even, I think.
Okay, and I'm older than her. I said I'm pushing.
Listen, I'm not
6.
knocking it, and I'm not knocking anybody collecting Social Security. You earned it, okay? You earned it. He's 56 years old, by the way. She's 56 years old, J-Lo.
Yeah.
So
no, I know. I got about 2 years. I knew that.
yeah. So who would have thought too? We're trying to talk about things that the kids are talking about. We've now gone on tangents about Ozzy Osbourne, Elton John, and Jennifer Lopez. Again, proving I am not hip. But anyway, he was asked about this on Sunday because all the reporters apparently just figured out on Sunday that he said that, and it was apparently a thing the kids say. And he was asked if he got that from Jackson Dart, but apparently he said no, he learned it from his kids, which just tells you how young the crowd is using that terminology, apparently. Because I was tempted to go ahead and look up this Skrilla guy, but I was worried it'd be all auto-tune BS and it would just take me off. And I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it.
He was Skrilla's been around for a little bit, but
yeah. Has he been? He's 26 years old. There's not that long of bit he can be around for at that point. Unless he was making music in the womb.
When did he get into the music game? That's the whole thing. Because if he got in 16, 17, then
well, apparently the 6-7 song is 2 years old.
Okay, there you go. So it's not.
That's just old.
So that's not old. Listen, 2 years. You kidding me? That's like last week.
Old.
That's like last week.
He was like, "Hey, remember Offspring Americana? That was an awesome album."
The first song I'm seeing on him is like 2023. So he's been around for a few years. So I'll give him credit because that started pretty young if he got into it at 22. But anyway, here we are talking about things that I know nothing on. Hip hop people in their mid 20s. Let's talk about Dr. Dre.
No, yeah, okay.
Now we're talking more my speed here.
Yeah, exactly.
We all forgot about Dre.
Oh gosh.
Why? Because he was in his lab with a pen and a pad. Want to get the damn label off?
Oh my gosh. Anyway, guys, let's talk about the topic that people keep bringing up in the chat here, because this has been, as mentioned, it's been kind of the Achilles heel of the Giants getting linemen that do anything positive, right? It's Andrew Thomas. And people got all excited about Marcus Bowe here in this game here against the Bills. And listen, there's reasons to be excited. There's definitely reasons to have that. So PFF listed him as having just one pressure in 35 snaps, 81.2 pass block rate overall. Brian Baldinger, who actually is usually pretty nice to Giants. I'll give him that. He's usually pretty level-headed there. He's not a hater or a homer. He's usually pretty level-headed. He said Giants, the best rookie performance was Marcus Bowe. Now, let me repeat that. The best rookie performance was Marcus Bowe in a game that everybody was talking about. Jackson Dart and the 6 snaps we saw of Abdul Carter. And I have to say that way because it's ridiculous to get too excited over 6 snaps. But he said, all I heard was smack, smack. All I saw was swat, swat. Now, if those y'all aren't up to date in your automatopoeias, know what he was talking about there. Basically, what he's saying is all he kept on seeing was guys going to hit him and him swatting them away, basically. That's exactly what you're supposed to do as a lineman. Keep your hands free. He says, let's go, go, go. And then he said, I thought the best Giants rookie on Saturday was Marcus Bowe. He was awesome. Now, all great things. He played for the second-team offense at right tackle. Then he played at left tackle during the 2-minute drill at right before the end of the half. Then he moved back to right tackle again in the third. So we have a guy now playing both sides of tackle and doing pretty good. Now, here's where I get to the not so good guys, because I got to keep it real. I did when I went back and looked at the tape, I specifically watched every snap for him specifically again because he's getting a lot of hype and I wanted to see what he was doing exactly. It was hard during the game live because I'm following the ball, and obviously tackles don't typically touch the ball very often. And if they do, something bad happened. Let's be very frank. That means the ball went to the ground at some point. So I think he did get pushed back a little bit in some of the more power moves. Not a ton. I'm not trying to say he got like smacked into the quarterback there, but I do think he had a little more trouble, obviously, with the power moves than he had with the finesse moves, which makes sense. He's a very athletic guy, not a very big guy for a tackle. We talked about it before. He barely hits 300 pounds. He's definitely undersized compared to what tackles are nowadays. He did definitely show off his athletic ability, though, against speed rushers. spin moves, swim moves. He seemed to pick up, some stuff pretty well there. The biggest issue I have, and I don't know why no one's talking about this, is his run blocking. He had a 59.3 run blocking grade from PFF. As I said before, 81.2 pass blocking grade. That's all I'm hearing people talk about. And I get it. We've seen quarterbacks hit the ground like ridiculous amount of times over the last half a decade here. I get it. But there's the two-sided part of that position. You've got to be able to run block as well. And we talked about running was an issue in this game. It's not being talked about either. Running was an issue. No running back really did a great job. Whether it's Tracy, whether it was even Miller, who we'll talk about later on, who had a great game, but did not get the ball rolling on the ground.
No.
59.3 run blocking grade. So, listen, bottom line, this kid's got a lot of potential. I'm not trying to be negative on him. Switching sides mid-game and going back and forth, very impressive. Pass blocking, very impressive. Went against a well-coached Bills team that's been known for having a good defensively coached team for years. Not trying to take away from the kid. But I feel like people are a little too excited because we've been so bad at drafting offensive linemen lately. Like, you got to go back, guys. I challenge you to go back and look at those run plays and see what he did. Again, didn't get embarrassed. It wasn't like he fell flat in his face. It wasn't like he just couldn't get his hands on anybody. But I don't feel like he opened the lanes really, and that's part of my concern.
You are... First of all, as far as the grading, I don't get into the grades with PFF. I'm not a big fan of it. So, because I'm old school. So, it's the film.
I only use it because of tool, because you can't get a stat really. Yeah. That's the only reason
I get where you're going. Me, I'm a coach. I know what to look for. I get it with the average fan. I get it. You're right in some regards. There's a play that they ran for Turbo Mill. It was going off tackle where it bounced to the outside zone. He went for, I believe it was number 55, who dipped inside of him, and then he had to turn, spin, and he caught him. He caught him on a crack, which put him on his hind part. So he adjusted properly. But yes, you're right. That was one of my biggest concerns with not just him, but several of the offensive linemen in terms of defensive linemen cross-facing. And, how did they adjust to that? And it's a consistent thing. So some of that, I wonder if it's schematic. What are they teaching them? What do you do to adjust to that? There were a couple times that I saw a duo run and a safety had to drop down to the bottom to make the tackle. I'm fine with that because now you're getting a push, when two offensive linemen double teaming a defensive lineman and get a push to the second level. I'm fine with that. But yes, you're right. There were times in the run game because that's where I'm a big proponent. We had 25 carries for 79 yards, 2-to-1 average because I think we threw 52 times. Mm-hmm. But you get 79 yards. That's 3.2 yards per carry. That's not going to cut it in the NFL. I'm sorry, especially when those situations come where we got to get some short yardage situation because we don't get a push. And with him, I wonder, like I said, sometimes it's the angle, it's your hand placement, it's your foot, your initial 6-inch step. What are we teaching these offensive linemen? It's him, it's Kubas. We've been critical on Azudo in the past. So I'm wondering, is it part of the scheme? That's me, but I don't have the intel to know what they're calling at certain situations. So yes, you're right in terms of Bo, in his run game, but he's never been graded as a big run type of a player, so, and I get it. So you're right though. You're right. In terms of his run, he needs to do better in the run game.
So all I heard of the whole entire thing, well, I'm right.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you. No, I mean, listen, I think the biggest issue when you talk about those players specifically, I think there's three different cases here. When it goes to Josh Azudu, we use Josh Azudu on the show as a verb. When we say someone has Josh Azudu'd him, that means we put him in the wrong position he shouldn't be playing at. Josh Azudu was just flat out playing a tackle when he should be playing guard from the get-go, and that's been the biggest problem with him. And the Giants have flat out probably ruined any chance of him turning into anything decent because of it. You talk about, Jay Kubas. I don't think I don't see anything great about him. I never have. I don't think he was that great of a player. And for some reason, the Giants liked him a lot. With Bo, I think the issue really with him is and maybe I'm wrong, but I think he just needs to go hang out with Rob at the Golden Corral and start fighting for that last slice of prime rib. Like, I feel like it's the weight. Like, he's playing at 300 pounds even. He's going against guys where he's literally given up in some cases 50, 60 yards. I'm sorry, pounds. 50, 60 pounds. That's a lot of weight to be giving up if he has to slide inside on a run blocking and go against one of these bigger guys. Now, if he's going on the outside and pass blocking, it's not as big as an issue. And I think that coupled with athleticism is why you see very good as far as, how he is on pass blocking. But the second he has to go from the left or the right and slide inside to open up a run lane, now you're facing him against bigger guys. And that's where you're going to run to the issue, I think. And that's why I said all along, it's got to be almost a red shirt year for him. I think he needs to put on at least 25 pounds. But he needs to go hang out with that kid Watson over with the Bucks maybe and see if they can get a trade going of some kind.
That's a big boy. That's a big boy. big boy. So, but no, I get where you're going. And that's why I also say sometimes I think it's more because it looks like a lot of their blocking is zone based. It's not a power scheme, where, a lot of it is one-on-one driving your man out of the way. It's more catch them on an angle and ride them out of the way. Don't let them bull you, because you made a good point, with a couple of bull rushes, he was giving yard ground, but then of course he anchored himself well to stall it. So yes, he knows how to adjust, but yes. Mano sometimes, certain ones.
It's almost like I'm trying to think of a good player to give this analogy to, but here it almost reminds me of like a Julius Edelman kind of guy, but on the offensive line, like a really guy who's a little undersized, but a guy who is very good as far as his form, as far as his technique. He's just lacking the size to go along with it there, so to speak. And I think that's kind of what's going on with him to a certain degree. He's almost like that smaller receiver that you're like, oh, he's scrappy. How is he getting it done at his size? Like, he's the offensive lineman version of that right now. 300 pounds. He's giving up a lot.
Well, also remember, as a 300-pounder, some tackles are only 315, 310. So they're more going towards edge guys, and a lot of those guys are 240 to 260, maybe 270. So the power, now, like you said, if you bump them inside to guard, you're going up against some big, sexy fatties down here. So, 350, 340, you're right. So there it becomes a matter of leverage. So that's where sometimes I get where you're going in terms of adding girth. He just needs to add good girth. He doesn't. You don't want to add it and put on, because I've seen guys who, they put on the weight and then it just takes away from their athleticism. Right now, if you tell me put on,
I'm right
10
here,
pounds,
Coach. I know you're talking about me.
No.
Wow, way to call me out of the show here. Wow.
I'm calling you out, man. I'm just saying in general.
I'm sensitive about my weight. What's next? Why am I wearing a hat? Because I'm bald, Coach.
What's the matter with your weight? I'm probably bigger than you. I'm probably heavier than you. So
I'm 700 pounds.
Yeah, okay.
I was on that TLC special.
He's 6'7", so he hides it very well.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm just saying, adding the weight on to help, like you said, to give him good weight, to get power, and not to be easily driven back. I get where you're going. Like, what is Andrew Thomas? I think Andrew Thomas is what, 315?
I want to say about 320. Let me see. I mean, again, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's got to go to 354 pounds. I'm not saying anything crazy. He definitely. I think he needs probably a good 20 pounds added onto him. 315 for Andrew Thomas too. But I don't know. I still wonder the exact weight of Bo. Like we've talked about it before. I don't never trust the numbers we get. He just looks a lot smaller too. Like he doesn't even look the 300 pounds. And if I'm right, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong. When they were doing, we were talking about him as a prospect before the draft. Weren't we seeing places listing about 295 and 290 even?
I was going to say like 290-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that. So, listen, I mean, we said it before. You can always go ahead. The new thing to do it now is when you go to the combine, you fix whatever weight issue you have, and then you just don't work out until your pro day. That's the trick, guys. If people haven't realized that yet, when you see a guy going for weigh-ins and stuff like that in interviews that not work out, and then work out in his pro day, bring the same scale to both places. I guarantee there'll be a difference.
I was going to say,
That's
very easy to manipulate, especially at that weight. Like, you're literally talking, when you're talking 10, 20 pounds at 300 pounds, that's less than 10% of his body weight that you're manipulating. Like, as a guy that's back in the day, they used to compete at 200 pounds. Lifting
back in the day,
was nothing. It was nothing.
Back in my day.
I mean, back in my day. God, I would take that swing right now. God, building the crowd's been too good. Getting the meat sweats.
I mean, you and I had the similar thing. Obviously, you were much better than I was at the sport, but we did it during wrestling. You had to add weight, drop weight, and stuff like that. You can add 10, 15 pounds, drop 10, 15 pounds easy. People think it's difficult. It's not really that difficult to do. It's done all the time. So, that's what I'm saying. I just don't know if I even see 300 pounds is a legit weight for him. But again, if you get to that 315, 320 rate, I think you'll see a difference. And keep in mind, even 15 pounds at the 315, that's still a 5% increase. It's much more than you think at that point there,
I just don't want to take from I just don't want to see it take away from his athleticism. That's all. I want to see good weight added on. And I've seen so many times guys add on bad weight, and it just takes away from what. Look, if that's the case, stay where you are and just work on getting stronger. In the weight room in that regard.
Yep. And what you gotta do, and this is why I said we drafted him. It almost seems to be almost like a red shirt year for him to a certain degree, where you kind of work on him, let him gain the weight slowly, naturally, doesn't kill his joints and stuff like that, and get him going. And then maybe he takes over for Greg Van Roden or Jermaine Illuminor next year, depending on how things go, and what position he excels at. But I do think that he showed me a little more than I expected, to be honest with you guys, in that game. I was impressed. We talked about how he needed to probably gain a lot of weight and move inside because of the shorter arms. He handled himself pretty well. And I think some of us may have forgotten, including myself, he did play at Purdue. It wasn't like he played at like Central Southwestern Texas Polytech Christian University Abilene. Like he did play at a legit school, playing against legit pass rushers. So sometimes there are guys who they're outliers, and the NFL hates it. And quite frankly, that's probably why he dropped. Short arms, underweight.
Yeah, that stuff kills me, man. It's just
and you can add weight.
Yeah,
you can add weight, and technically, you can probably go to Japan and get that surgery that makes your arms longer. But you have to break it a bunch of times, do all kinds of crazy stuff. Yes, there is a surgery that does that.
I'm okay.
No, legit.
I believe you. I'm just like, extend my arm. No, I'm good with my.
No, it's done more with legs. Actually, there's a thing people do. They actually will break their femurs and they extend them out a little bit and let it fill in, and then do it again and again and again until they gain a little height. It's kind of creepy. And when I say kind of, I mean very.
You said Japan. I understand why. Never mind. I'm just going to leave it.
Well, I think I want to say it was Japan. I could be wrong on where they do it at, but I mean, let me say, last time I saw a video on it, wasn't Japanese people specifically doing it, but I want to say it was done in Japan.
No, I'm just saying. I understand.
Listen. I got what you're saying. You're talking about certain shortcomings.
But over here, look, I'm 6'2", you're 6'7", so I'm used to. In my family, I'm height, so I'm like.
Listen, I went to Singapore 5 years ago. People literally took pictures of me on the street.
Okay. They thought it was Godzilla walking down the street. That was the problem.
For Singapore, not Japan, Rob. Wow. There's a difference. Oh my God. Anyway, let's get to the next topic here before Rob gets us canceled.
Too late.
You know what? Actually, we're gonna wait a second to go to the next topic. Because we're going to pay the bills.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the Goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
All right, guys. We're also going to go ahead and put Coach Ed's YouTube page up as well, guys, while you're in the whole subscribing, following, sharing mode there at that point. Go ahead and help him out as well. Like I said, great programming he does there as well. Works often with NYG22. We had on here just, I think, what 2 weeks ago, a week ago? I don't know. I lose track of time. Again, I'm old. I don't know what the hell's going on. Where am I? Who are you? I don't know.
We even do this podcast for 3 years now, Drew. We're hitting the 4th season.
By the way, Jay says that leg breaking surgery is crazy. It's in Germany. People who were dwarves look normal afterwards. It's crazy. It really is. Like I've seen it before and after. They add like 3-4 inches. It's crazy.
Wow.
And then he also suggested that I was going for extracurricular activities in Singapore. No, I was actually going with my wife. I'm a happily married man. Though I will say, Jay, I was propositioned multiple times, but I said no every single time because I'm a good married man. Okay. Sheesh, try to get me in trouble. Listen, I can tell you guys all kinds of crazy stories, but I can't do it on the air because YouTube will probably ban us afterwards if I tell you some of the stories, the crazy shit I saw there. That's for sure. So, Ghost Dogs Big Talk says, make sure to hit the subscribe if you feel the vibe. Listen, if you don't even feel the vibe, just hit the subscribe anyway. It's fun. It gives you like a beautiful feeling of euphoria afterwards. I know I do every time that I hit a subscribe button. And it's funny because before I was a content creator, I like never subscribed to anything. It's like my feed just knew what I liked. I never hit the subscribe. And I'll tell you, every single person that you talk to that does content creation will tell you that anywhere from 50 to 80% of the people that watch their stuff do not hit that subscribe button. And that's the crazy part about it. And I'll tell you guys, it does help because it pushes out the content. It also adds validity to your content. People go, ooh, look, they have these many subscribers. Though personally, again, Rob and I prefer you to hit the subscribe button on our stuff, but I'll tell you point blank, YouTube doesn't give us anything extra past 1,000. There's only to give us a bonus after 2,000. So, you know, it is what it is. But again, we appreciate it. I still get that warm, fuzzy feeling. I'm bad. I stalk our stats all throughout the day. I am really bad. 100%. Rob can attest because I text him. I'm kind of obsessed. It's kind of a problem.
The next 100.
Yeah. I'm not just a client. I'm also the president. Is what it is.
I'm like, I saw it. It was pretty cool. I appreciate it.
All right.
Usually, like that guy in the woods, in the bushes, just sneaking, watching.
Okay, first Coach calls me fat. Now you say that I'm like the guy stalking people in the woods. What the hell, guys? What did I do to you today? What did I do?
Drew, I never called you fat because
it's okay, Coach. I forgive you.
No.
I forgive
you. Here's my mantra. I'm the sexiest fat man that you will ever know. So why would I call you fat when I'm the sexiest fat man?
Let me just say that I know myself.
Are you calling him sexy or?
Yeah,
I'm calling myself sexy.
I'm the sexiest fat man. Me, Coach Ed. Oh no. I'm fat. I'm fat. I love it. So I'm not gonna call him.
Oh, he's loving it.
Honestly, don't they like eating their other McGriddles in the morning because they are freaking spectacular. I don't know what is that McGriddles. Whoever decided that little pancakes is how you make a breakfast sandwich, freaking genius. Okay, that person deserves that Real American Hero commercial they used to make with the beers. And then the second thing is because it reminds me of my childhood. We used to have those, remember like the stack of chicken patties used to always sell in the grocery store that they probably have squared away somewhere, but then not as popular as it used to be back in the 80s and all. The McChicken sandwich reminds me so much of that. The McChicken. As we got to put this up here because Jay is always so nice to the guests here. He says, Coach Ed is the chocolate thunder with the ladies.
Hey, if they love me, they love me. Just I'm never gonna. I love the ladies. I love the ladies. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Okay. I'm not married, so I don't have to worry about it.
As long as you don't go to any WNBA games, I'm just saying, because we have to be a little careful there.
Hey, I love the WNBA. Stop it.
You can go there. I'm just saying you cannot bring a satchel like Indiana Jones.
No.
They ban the sacks. Be careful.
No. Not me. You don't have to worry about that with Coach Ed. No.
As Ghost Dogs Big Talk says, Coach makes all the ladies smooth. I'm just warning you, Coach. They are talking you up so much that I feel like what's going to end up happening is any women that are listening to this on the audio podcast after the fact are go to YouTube just to see your face now. And I'm saying, while you're here, women, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, share, tell a friend.
And then give your swing and swoon to Coach Ed.
Exactly.
Because then we're going to lose all that.
Coach Ed, if you want to throw out your Plenty of Fish profile, whatever the people are doing nowadays, feel free. Okay, I'm just saying you can put it in the chat.
You got the POF. You got the POF.
Is that what people are? People even still doing POF? I've been not single for like so long now. I don't even know what kids are using nowadays.
That part I don't go into. No. That I give it to you. I don't touch that part. No, I'm not good with that. So it's verbal conversations, meet and greet, that type of stuff.
There you go. It's okay.
Set up a booth. Meet and greet, Coach Ed.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Meet and greet.
Female Giant fans only apply.
Hey, I don't discriminate. Except for those disgusting teams all the way down south. I can't stand them. So my ex-wife.
Whoa, you don't like the Dolphins?
No, the Cowboys. My ex-wife was a Cowboy fan, so go figure.
Oh my God.
You're right, Bookend. You're right. They were always in there. And
Bookend tackle says Coach could keep the nurses out of the room.
Plenty of personal attention with the bathing. Yes, you're right. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
But let's stop there.
Coach, like it's another SpongeBob time.
Yeah. Coach, you're here for they're going to toenail. What's your pants off?
All of a sudden, the head nurse is like, "Why is the Sponge Bath team having to get overtime this week? What's going on?"
That was the head nurse.
Well, that's a different job. Anyway, oh, thank God. Yeah. Let's get back to football here. Oh. Coach, like I'm never coming on the show ever again.
I'm having a great time, fellas. Seriously, all jokes
always glad to hear it, man.
I appreciate you guys.
So we got to talk about Russell Wilson, a guy we know Jay doesn't appreciate. Get him all riled up. Listen, Russell Wilson, love him or hate him, and we've said before, like I've said before, point blank, I don't expect the Seattle Seahawks version of Russell Wilson. I think that guy is unfortunately gone. I expect an improvement over Daniel Jones, but the biggest thing that irks me is he comes off as very fake quite often. Let's be honest, it just comes off as fake. Now, he said after the game, and I love this quote, and this is where I say he comes off as fake, but I do think he provides some leadership and experience and stuff like that. He obviously won a Super Bowl in Seattle. Should have won 2 if it wasn't for you, Pete Carroll. Let's look at you. But that's what happens. You get a guy that brings with that kind of experience. He gives you wisdom that comes from that experience there. He said, well, I think the first thing is not to be too high, not to be too low. Just remain focused on the work, remain focused on the progress, incremental gains, understanding what we're doing this thing together, offensively, defensively, special teams. Winning is a habit, and we want to create winning habits, not just on Sundays or Saturdays like today, but it's the process of winning that you have to enjoy. And I think when you love practice and you love it and you can compete at as high a level as we do every day and get after every day, it makes the games that much more simple. And it is great advice, guys. You have to enjoy the process just as much as the actual game itself. And this is honest advice for everything you do in life. I feel like we're getting very philosophical in this episode here. It's basically been the episode of like Sponge Bass and philosophy here. Philosophy. Oh my God, I'm messing up.
And get up there.
But anything in life you do, if you want to excel, and this is why, like, it's funny. I'm in a lot of YouTube groups and stuff like that for people that do content creation and stuff, and people are always like, "What should I talk about?" Talk about what you love. do what you love. Because if you don't love the process of what you're doing, first off, you're not going to be very good at it. Second off, you're probably not going to do it very long because you're going to hate doing it. So I love that part of it where he's saying, like, look, you got to enjoy everything and the winning habits going up to it there. He's 100% right in that. Mm-hmm. And again, he comes off as fake. I'm the first one to tell you guys this point blank. But not everything he says is crazy. In between the let's rides and all, he does occasionally drop a pearl of wisdom. And that's one of them right there. It truly is. So, as Jay says, Rob has a passion for vacuum cleaners. That's what leads him to success.
I'm just lost talking.
Anthony says, I was waiting for the vacuum cleaner comments. He says AC, he's going to be out by week 7. We'll see. But again, I like that. I think that's part of the personality and part of the changes going on with this team this year. There is everybody you talk to, and I hate to jump on bandwagons to get all excited before the season actually begins, because I keep on telling you guys, I don't want to get excited till we start winning games. And not preseason. Actual games. That's when I want to get excited. I've been hurt before, guys. I've been hurt before. And that's where I'm at.
2 years.
Yeah, exactly. It's Jason's playoffs.
I just want to win a game.
Look, man, you're so right in terms of his leadership skills. It's something that has been missing for quite some time, I have to admit it. And the fake aspect, I look at it more as he's being politically correct. And, he's saying what needs to be said to help lead this organization back to relevancy. And that everyone expects that from your quarterback, first of all. So, and that's what he's giving you. So, the let's ride, I guess for me, I know how to take that. So I brush that off and keep it moving. I don't get into all that, but, I understand everyone else's. I'm the weirdo. I admit it. I'm the weirdo. So,
what it is for me is that I never trust people when they come off as fake. Like, there's people, and Rob knows we've talked about this in the show plenty of times. There's like celebrities I'll even say, like, I don't trust this person. I think they're probably a jerk in real life because of how fake they come off. Like, the one I always give is The Rock. Everybody always thinks he's the nicest guy ever. He just seems like a jerk to me because he just comes off as very fake. And I have spent a lot of time in my outside of content creation. Outside of content creation, I've spent a lot of time in my career learning to read people, learning to pick up micro expressions, things of that nature. Rob the same, obviously, in his career at that point that he has too. So, you learn to pick up things. Russell Wilson always just come off as a fake to me. And I don't think we actually know the real Russell Wilson. I hope his teammates do, but you heard issues about that in the past in Seattle as well, where he was kind of distant. You definitely heard that with his private office in Denver, even though I thought that was overblown with the private office. He's not the only player ever to get one. But you hear about that. And that's the only concern I have with him. That.
So, like, part of me, like, I look into that, and part of me is like, was it him being fake? Or was it like the circumstances, right? Like, yeah, we saw Let's Ride, and like, it wasn't me. It's
unlimited. You gotta be unlimited. I'm still unlimited.
So part of me, like, I look at it, it's like, is he fake or is he just trying too hard, not know when to draw the line? And like, the more like I've been thinking about it, I think he just does know when to draw a line. He's trying too hard with certain things because like. He loves going to like practice. He's just talked about practice, right? He goes all in with everything.
Talking about practice.
Sometimes he doesn't know when to stop. And when you talk about the Broncos and you talk about Seattle, that all came as soon as he left. So is it more of a, hey, this is the reason why we kicked him out? Or is this really how he was, acting while he was there? Because why would he be with Seahawks for almost 10 years when he was a big old a-hole the whole time? You probably would have got rid of that distraction on Pete Carroll.
Breaking news. Jay has said something nice about Russell Wilson. This is a first. He said, I don't like him. He is cringy and unauthentic, but he is a competent quarterback. Listen, that's as good as a compliment as Jay will probably ever give.
Yeah.
That's the nicest thing Jay's ever said about Russell Wilson.
If he goes out there and helps this organization wins, and he's throwing for 3,800, 4,000 yards, and say 28, 29 touchdowns, and
The bigger
5 to 7 interceptions, I think most of us will take that, sign up for that, and we don't care what you are. You just keep doing what you're doing to lead us, or instill certain values into Dart, because he's going to see that and follow suit. And that's what I'm looking for from Russell Wilson, to be brutally honest. Exactly. I'm looking for him to instill certain leadership values, which most of it Dart already has, but help on the professional level, because Dart is our future, not Russell Wilson. I just want Russell Wilson for this year to lead the ship, lead us, get us going back in the right direction, help us compete. If we can be in playoff position, great. But if we are a competent team and we're respectable in the long run, you've done what I want from Russell Wilson as the quarterback, as the face of the org, or however you want to categorize his position. That's all I'm looking for, fake or not.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to give you a scenario. Now, let me just ask if you guys would sign up for this in a freaking heartbeat, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If Jackson Dart gets to go to 2 Super Bowls, wins 1, and is a 10-time Pro Bowl quarterback, are you guys happy?
Without that.
With the New York Football Giants?
Yes.
2 Super Bowls, wins 1.
And gets to 10 Pro Bowls.
I have to say yes. I have to be honest. I have to say yes.
That's Russell Wilson's resume. So therefore, he is the guy to teach him, because if you can mimic what Russell Wilson has done in his career, listen, we're going to be happy. I hate to say it. Like, don't get me wrong. Would I prefer to be 10 Super Bowl victories? Of course, obviously. But I'm trying to play realistic here, obviously.
Yes, I get you.
That's where we're at there. If you get a guy who is a perennial Pro Bowl quarterback and goes to a couple of Super Bowls, sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me up in a goddamn heartbeat. And listen, maybe he's just a taller version of Russell Wilson when this is all said and done. If you think about it, they have similar play styles to a certain degree as well. Obviously Russell Wilson was coming out as a 3rd-round draft pick. He wasn't even planned to be the starting quarterback when he got drafted. That was, what's his name? Was the kid they got from Green Bay? I'm trying to remember who it was. The backup quarterback they had.
Was it Matt
Flynn? Matt Flynn.
Yes.
That's his name. Matt Flynn was supposed to be the quarterback. And he took the spot from him. He was a 3rd-round pick. Jackson Dart, 1st-round pick, but he wasn't a top 10 pick. He was really, let's be honest, he was really a 2nd-round pick taken in the 1st round just to make sure we got the 5th-year option. Nobody else took him. That's the reality of what Jackson Dart is. So it is mobile quarterback, obviously, a guy that people thought needed a little bit of work coming into the NFL. There's a lot of similarities in Russell Wilson and Jackson Dart. He actually is a very good mentor to him, along with, of course, having the guy that he point-blank said during the draft process he wanted as a mentor in Jameis Winston. So this man can go ahead and have a good NFL career, steal some crab legs, and steal the hearts of New York City.
And listen, and I was about to get into
Rob's like, how I follow that?
I was about to bring up Jameis, because that's a very good point, because that's exactly where I was going there, right? So you got the guy, 10 Pro Bowls, 2 Super Bowls, 1 ring, fantastic career. Drafted in the 3rd round. You also got the guy that was drafted or 1 overall.
Mm-hmm.
None of the accolades, but was suspected to be that player.
Mm-hmm.
Who winds up being one of probably the best backup quarterback in this league.
Yes.
Right? In the modern days, right? Now you have the opportunity to learn of what that pressure of overall being number 1 is, seeing how he plays, sees the mistakes, even though mistakes are still learn lessons there, but you see the mistakes he made and learn off that what to do and not to do. And then you look at Russ, who just worked his butt off to get where he was, and then you learn off that and take away from both those guys, and he has potential to be a great quarterback. Hopefully.
And like I said, I think Russell Wilson brings so much experience and leadership to this team that's been missing. And listen, again, the vibe is different. And you know what? If you look, we've said it all along. People act like this roster has changed over 100%. The roster is not. Let's be very clear about this. It's rookies, a couple guys in the secondary, and the quarterback room.
Yeah.
That's what's changed. It wasn't like they went out and got a second receiver and another offensive lineman and another linebacker. They got a corner and a safety to shore up the secondary. They changed the entire quarterback room, and they got a bunch of rookies. That's what they did, guys.
You also got some veterans on the defensive line.
That you did, but none of them that I think we're going to, at the end of the day, go, these are the stars of the team.
Oh, no. But
that's what I mean.
I think, I get where you're going. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
you're right.
I mean, I mean, that's where it's at there. So listen, if the change is going to happen, it's going to probably come from Russell Wilson. As much as people may not like him sometimes because he does come off as fake, he's like that's the 60-year-old politician that tries to say something to make the kids laugh. Like, I'm not wrong on that. Like, that's how he acts like that. Well,
yeah. I get that.
Like, all of a sudden, he's talking about the economy, and then he starts breaking out into a quote from Jelly Roll. Like, that's the way like these guys do at that point. And that's exactly the kind of thing I could so see Russell Wilson do.
Touché. Yeah,
I don't know if Jelly Roll's cool with the kids or not. I know who he is, and he's around now, so I feel like it's like the coolest name I could pull out of my hat here.
Well,
Jelly Roll.
Don't forget his wife either. So a lot of them will want to be around his wife too. So
I don't think politicians are going to be quoting her really.
No. I mean the young players with the Giants.
No hating on her past. I'm just saying. I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because she's into fashion, and a lot of them are into fashion. So that's what I'm going. They want to be around her and talk and pick her brain about fashion. Because best believe she's in New York City. She's down in the fashion district, and she's trying to make a name for herself.
I don't know if you could tell by my my Disney Aladdin shirt that I'm wearing right now, but I do not often frequent the fashion avenue of New York City. Therefore,
I was actually at the
I would not know who is there.
Today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the kids today, the younger players. I mean, the fashion lineups, all of that. Where do you go? In New York City, LA, and international. So,
New York City. That's where they make salsa. New York City.
No, they make salsa. They make salsa down in Mexico. Come on, man, get it right.
Okay, you don't remember the commercial? Look up salsa New York City. It's a spectacular commercial from back in the day.
No,
it's absolutely spectacular. We gotta Google it later on. I wouldn't play it, but we get copyright infringement probably for doing it. So
I digress. You taught me something. I'm cool.
We'll have to. Are you also hip?
No. Ask my kids. They will tell you. Not my granddaughter, but my kids will tell you. Not that. Not that.
There you go. At least to keep it level. All right, let's talk about Joe Shane, what he talked about there in the NBC booth there during the game. So those of you all like myself that had to watch the national coverage, and I say that national coverage with the quotation marks it so quite frankly deserves, as you literally had the Bills people trying to talk over the touchdown that Jackson Dart threw. That's how bad the coverage was. And literally went into 5-minute interviews during the game, making us miss things. Bill should have been goddamn embarrassed about that. We don't care about your goddamn stadium. So, anyway, get off my soapbox. But anyway, Joe Shane did meet with the people in the NBC telecast there to talk about things going on with the game there. And guys, I was able to watch it. Who was it? Was it Banks and Papa? What's going on? Who was in that one? Do you guys know off the top of your head?
No, I got the Buffalo coverage.
I got the Buffalo coverage.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's probably someone much better. I would have preferred that. I said actually while we're doing the play-by-play during the game, I said that what they should do for all the telecasts going forward for preseason is have one person from one team, one person from the team, and let them duke it out and fight it out during. I want to see that. That would be fun.
A boxing match in the middle.
No, I mean like, imagine if like. You go into a game like this one, for example, if we're getting way sidetracked again as usual, but like, imagine going to this game and it's like Carl Banks, talking to like Jim Kelly. Like, That kind of thing, like have one of the guys from each talk it out and fight it out and stuff. And listen, those guys all get along behind closed doors, so it's not like you'd actually see actual fighting. You know, I think it'd be a much more entertaining show because you get perspective of both teams at that point as well.
That's an excellent idea. I like that.
Like I said, I think that's what they should do, but they never will. They never will. Anyway, though, the whole thing we're going to talk about was Joe Shane talking during the NBC telecast there and point blank calling CB to a battle. Guys, you couple that with the fact that, you know, literally he was out there for an entire half. Deontay Banks is in trouble, guys. He is in trouble. Cordell Flott is injured right now, and probably the biggest thing helping Banks is availability. But otherwise, the kid's got to learn to turn around.
There were a couple times he's up on press, and he just opens. Now, I don't know if that's the schematics, but I kept saying, well, why are you not jamming? Why are you not, funneling him properly? Why are you just opening up your hips and allowing him an easy release? So, but there were some times I wondered, schematically. I know what was the third play of the game? It was 3rd and 15. And they were in a zone man concept, and Banks was playing man by himself on the single side. So, and then everybody else was in zone. That's where they threw the little dump off to Dalton or whatever his name is, the tight end on the crosser. And I kept rewinding and looking at the tape, and I said, "Oh, okay." Now, the first thing I said, this is preseason, and Bone is throwing that out. So I want to see what your playbook is, because usually preseason is very vanilla. And if you're putting out man-zone combinations together in the preseason, the third defensive play of the game, what is the rest of the defensive? But getting back to Banks, and you also let him play solo. So it's like, you're right. I Drew, in what you're saying, his ability to play, is it the confidence? What are you guys teaching him technique-wise? Is he not, if you're teaching him the proper techniques, is he not just putting it out there on the field? Because I'm wondering too.
We talked about this when we first drafted him. Rob and I liked the athleticism he provided. We thought he was a second-round pick. That's what we said point blank. We said he was a second-round pick. We traded up to get him towards the end of the first. That was their guy. Wink was all excited. Remember that? Wink was all that's probably the happiest I've ever seen Wink, except for the day he resigned. Yeah. But he was a guy that we thought had all the athletic ability whatsoever, needed coaching, needed to fix some of the things at that point, like especially turning his head around, which he still has the problem with, obviously. He can stay, step for step sometimes. He gets lost, I feel like, sometimes with quick moves. He just has that problem for some reason. And he has the speed to overcome it sometimes. It doesn't have it other times. But I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Coach, because I know, again, you got a little more experience as far as the film watching and the coaching stuff than I do, obviously. But I feel like watching him, I feel like he's that kid that's gotten by with pure natural talent his whole career. And now he can't. And he's not coachable to the point where he can fix these things that quickly as well. And I don't want to speak at a guy I don't know personally. I'm not trying to sit there and say that I know him personally, and we've had many conversations, obviously. But he strikes me, based on things we saw last year, as not that coachable. And you put those two combinations together, and that's a bad combo.
Well, the first thing that hurt him is, yes, Wink, changing the defensive systems. Because Wink is press man. That's who you go, stay in him, ride the hip, get downfield. I've had arguments with some people who always say he doesn't turn his head around. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Well, when the receiver runs upfield, he's not turning his head. I'm like, well, first and foremost, he needs to turn, squeeze the hip, close the separation before he turns the head. I said, now, if you wanted to walk down the street side by side with someone, just turn your head while you're walking with that person. You know what's going to end up happening? Your body's going to go to where your head is turning. I said it's now understanding when to get there, feel the receiver, and get your head around. What most people fail to realize, in 2 years, he has 23 pass deflections. So that's telling me he's in position and he is knocking the ball away. But to the argument of interceptions, he needs to do a better job of getting his head around and making a play on the football. I'm with everyone there. But to those who just argue that just to argue, no.
Yes. Yeah, you have to understand how football is played. Yeah, you don't just turn
100%.
your head automatically because you will lose the receiver in the process. What you have to do is you have to sense when the receiver is about to go for the ball, whether that's having your hand on their hip and feel the movement there, or visually watching his eyes and seeing what he's doing at that point there. He's not wrong on that part. It's that last second turn he's missing.
Yes.
And it's funny because you mentioned as far as, him as far as being better in press man. He had a lot more experience of that in college at Maryland as well. Maryland was a primarily press system, but they did do zone as well. It was a hybrid scheme leading towards the press. And his rookie year, I go back to, because I thought his second half of his rookie year, he actually started looking better. He got a couple of picks as well. And if you remember, that's when they started forcing Wink to use zone coverage towards the end, and his picks actually were in zone coverage. That's the weird part about it. I can't quite get a feel on the kid, and that's what kind of ticks me off to a certain degree. I see him looking more fluid, more natural when he's in press, but he doesn't turn around. Then you see him in zone. He doesn't look as fluid, doesn't look as natural in that kind of play, but then he has a higher tendency to turn his head at that point because he's not focused so much on one individual player. I think, honestly, again, I think it comes down to coaching. And I just don't know if this kid is coachable. And that's the problem. Because he's gotten by without having to get that done. He's gotten by with that natural ability.
No, you're right. When you rely on your natural ability, you become deaf to coaching sometimes, which is an excellent point. Experienced it myself. Yeah. And it's hard to, as a coach, to really get through to some guys because they think they know everything. And when they think they know everything, then, as one of my coaches said to me, just give him the rope and let him hang himself.
Yeah. And unfortunately, they did that last year and way too soon. Banks had to go through a gauntlet of receivers when he was not prepared to be a CB1 last year. We've said that multiple times in the show. They set him up to fail, point blank. Set him up to fail. What they should have done is give the open checkbook to Gilmore and get him just to avoid putting Banks out there into a spot he wasn't ready for.
No, he's right.
To get a veteran mentor.
You got guys saying it, the pressure. Is he ready for being a CB1? No, he's not. He was never ready to be CB1, last year. He just wasn't. And then here, don't forget, being in the New York market, come on, that's brutal. Some people are just not built for it here.
Yeah, and I'll tell you guys point blank, because talking to people, again, and I'm not going to give specific names, but I hear little droplets here and there from people on things of the Giants there. The Giants wanted absolutely nothing to do with a Dory Jackson last year. And the fact that they signed a Dory Jackson and brought him on told you how confident they were not in in Deontay Banks. Plus the fact that they were really trying, you saw in Hard Knocks, to go get a corner in the second round last year as well. Going back to the 24 draft, they really wanted one and weren't able to get one. So again, that just tells you they were trying. They knew he wasn't ready, but they still forced him out there. Wasn't fair what they did to this kid. Point blank.
No, it's not. And Mac says it. You're right. He's young, Mac. I totally agree with you. He definitely is young. So, and it goes back to what we were just saying is coaching. Now, as Drew was saying, is he coachable? That's the question, because they also fired the cornerback coach from last year. So you have a new
Jerome
DB
Henderson,
coach.
the defensive back coach overall, who was also, remember, promoted before last year as well because he was so highly thought of. And by the way, we've always thought very good of Jerome Henderson, who I think is with the Texans now, I want to say. I forget. But he landed right on his feet, no problem, because the kind of reputation he has. And that was the big thing people said when he was gone, is that he got Jerome Henderson fired.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to look to where he's at now. The Colts, actually. He's on the Colts. So him and Daniel Jones are a package deal, apparently. It's a weird pairing. You got to wonder who got there first. And did he get there? And he's like, and he sees Daniel Jones walk in the building, like, God damn it, not again. Come on. You were supposed to stay there. I went over here first. You were supposed to stay there. Oh, my gosh. As people talk about in the chat there, all the issues with first-round draft picks that we've gotten at corner. And guys, it's like tight end. That is a very difficult spot to figure out. Success rates are not good. They're not.
I go back to Mark Collins. So, I love Mark Collins. So that was a drafted. So I understand where y'all are coming from. It's been a challenge with cornerbacks as of late.
We had to let Eli Apple go.
Yeah,
Oh my god!
Yeah, I get
By the
it.
way, he just got cut though. He got signed like 2 weeks ago, I think, by the Chargers, and got cut today. So listen, Eli Apple can come back. There you go. There's our CB2.
Yeah, we got Webster Thomas.
Oh my god!
What's from called from Texas, who also was there too. So yeah.
As Ghost Dog pulls out the mids again here, he said, "Hell, even Prince Amukamara was mids," and he was mid. Listen, he had a good career. He was a second or third round pick. We would have totally said that was a good pick, but because where he got picked is where people look at him back there. But he was a good career. Just definitely disappointment based on where he got. All right, guys, we got one more segment real quick because I'm sorry, we are definitely running a little bit past here. And then we got the rapid fire with Coach Ed there, where Rob and I go back and forth and give him a player. He's got 30 seconds to give his opinion on that player there. We like to put our guests on the spot here. But let's talk about Turbo Miller one last time here, what he did there in Buffalo. Listen, that's the big thing people are talking about this game now is Turbo Miller here. And him and Bo, minus Dark and Carter, are probably the biggest two stars to coming out of this whole game here. And, now the big talk is, has he forced his way onto the roster? Now, again, to recap what he did, 10 carries, 22 yards, 7 catches on 7 targets, by the way, 80 yards. And a very impressive 80 yards, too, as well, because a lot of that was yak. It wasn't like he was doing wheel routes and get the ball 15 yards down the field. A lot of it was yak yards.
Mm-hmm.
I want to remind people this. And listen, anybody who watches this show knows how much Rob and I absolutely love watching Turbo play and doing well on Saturday because we've been big fans of Turbo from get-go. If you don't know the backstory on this kid, I'm talking way before college, by the way, guys. Look at the story. From drug issues in the home to being raised by his grandmother, who then passed away, his cousin fighting for years to gain custody of him and stuff like that. Absolute tremendous story this kid's upbringing was at this point. And like I said, we always like to root for everybody who's a Giant because we're Giant fans. But the story overall in this kid's life and everything lead up to is great and what he's had to overcome in life. But listen, guys, I can love a player and I can still be a realistic person. Because you know what? If you had told me after week 1 of the preseason last year who could be the unsung hero of the Giants, a lot of y'all, and I wouldn't have said it, but a lot of y'all might have said Eric Gray, who destroyed the Detroit Lions in the first week of preseason last year. So you know what, guys? Maybe we don't get too excited about one game in a preseason. Because how's Eric Gray doing?
Maybe
that's whose spot he would take, guys.
I'm looking at Turbo Miller. Just like you said, 7 targets, 80 yards. His rushing is not something that you want to use. Maybe as a change of pace every now and then. Is he on the roster? In my eyes, he's pushing his way to get on the roster. But to put him on the roster, who are you taking off? That's
what I'm saying. I think he would take Eric Gray's spot. I've heard people going so crazy, they're literally suggesting that he's gone past Motor. That's disrespectful to everything Motor has done in his career. That's insanity. He had one, let me be very clear, one good pass catching preseason game. Not even running. He was horrible at running. 10 rushes, 22 yards. But you want to go ahead and replace Motor, a guy who has consistently been a 1,000-yard guy. And I don't mean rushing-wise. I mean combined. He hasn't really been a consistent 1,000-yard rusher, but he's been a consistent 1,000-yard season guy for 5-6 years in this league. Now, again, he got unseated by Tyrone Tracy last year. Probably had his worst numbers of his entire career. I'd have to look it up. I don't have that in front of me, but it probably was. He is probably still the second running back, guys. We got to stop getting so excited over this young kid so we just forget what else is on this roster. Motor is your running back 2 right now. Cam Scatterbo has a chance to overtake him during this season. But between being hurt and the fact that he's a rookie that's going to need a little time to learn in the NFL, especially when it comes to, pass protection. That's always the thing that rookie running backs have trouble with is pass protection. I don't know why. It's just that thing that they have trouble transitioning from college. He's probably not going to overtake him in the beginning of the season at the very least. And to sit there and just assume he's going to in the middle of the end of the season is a little crazy either, because it's a little disrespectful and motor in what he's done in his NFL career. But for people to legitimately say Turbo Miller is going to be the number 3 running back, not Motor, because that's what I've heard people say today like crazy. It's crazy.
I'm looking at Turbo more, number 1 as a returner, and then a situational running back out of the backfield if he makes the roster. I think he has a very good chance to make the roster. I'm going to be honest with you from what we saw, because the one thing that most of our backs, I'd like to see him and Tracy in a foot race, but his speed is just something that what he does to the defense, it really puts you on your back pedal, and sometimes turning and opening your hips way too fast, and you get scared. So that's where I'm looking at. He can make a name for himself, but as a steady running back, like you said, 10 carries for 22 yards is 2.2 yards. No, I just can't see him right now, this early part of his career. So the first thing I want to see him do is just get on the roster. So to your question, he's pushing him to get on the roster right now. So, but the question is, if he does, who's he taking off? If you say Eric Gray, okay.
Yes. Gray should have been gone last year, point blank.
Yeah.
Good. Call it like it is. What I want to see is, like you said, the special teams. I want to see him more as a returner. I think he's got a lot of potential there just based on what he does as far as the speed and the elusiveness he has. And him in the open field is goddamn dangerous. Listen, I'm going to give this as a player comp for him. Let me be very clear when I'm about to say the Timo version of it. If you all know what I mean, if you all go with Timo, like, it's not going to be the same type of player, but to a lesser degree, he's going to be a Darren Sproles kind of player. He's going to be a guy that can receive out of the backfield, will occasionally run the ball, but it won't be his forte, will be a special teamer that does returns. And that's what I'm hoping at the very most of him as a ceiling.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. So I can see that.
That's the kind of player he is. But here's the other problem people got to realize as well, is he's not young. Like, he's not a 21-year-old kid that's trying to learn in the league. He's 26, guys.
I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah. So he played fine. His whole issue in South Carolina was he ran out of availability. He had gone through his years in Ivy League, and then they thought he can get another year, at South Carolina, but at the 1 year there. So, there's all kinds of issues there. Again, that's a whole crazy cluster of college rules we won't get into right now. But, he had that 1 year off entirely. We just didn't play football, and then now this is his second year in the NFL. He's 26, guys.
Right.
So, what do we always say about running backs? 30 is the end for a lot of these guys. So you figure he's only got a couple of years. So he's going to have to, as much as you want time to teach his kid to learn the game, because he, again, played at a smaller school, obviously, for the most part, didn't really do much in South Carolina. So for the most part, really, like I said, played at a smaller school. What is called Columbia University, exactly a football hotbed per se. But he played at a smaller school and he did very well there, but he's going to have to learn to kind of excel at a much higher level very quickly. And he got that 1 year in the practice squad. If he can continue doing what he did, then yes, he'll take Eric Gray's spot. But again, to consider that as a foregone conclusion after one preseason game, guys, is a little crazy. It's like people that are insinuating Abdul Carter is going to have 100% pressure rate for the entire season because he did it 3 times on Saturday too. It's one game, guys. Let's not get too carried away.
Amen.
All right. Let's do our rapid fire. We got to do a little rapid fire here with Coach. So, for those who've never dealt with this before, the chaos of rapid fire on Two Giant Goofballs here. This is a new segment we started a couple of weeks ago here. What we're going to do is Rob and I are each going to give players, okay? We're going to go round robin style here. Rob will start off because I don't shut up. He needs a chance to talk. And he gets to be the first one to go give you a player. You got 30 seconds, then I go. We go back and forth there for a little bit there. So, Rob, start her off. Give Coach the first player, and he's got 30 seconds to give his thoughts on that player.
Ooh, you know what? Let's go hot out of the gate then. Let's talk about Duke Carter because we haven't talked about it today, really.
He is an elite pass rusher. He is versatile, being able that he can at times play second level linebacker. I know some people don't like hearing that, but it allows you to move him around, and it forces an offensive line to try and adjust accordingly. So he creates a certain level of fear in the pass rush. I just want to see him out in the open field. If he gets his hands on the football, can he take it to the house?
All righty. I'm going to give you a fun one here.
Mm-hmm.
We just talked about it a minute ago. Let's talk about motor. Devin Singletary.
Veteran running back, experience, can do some of the dirty work, so, you trust him in some regard. He's played under Dable in the past at Buffalo, so he knows the system. So he's a good veteran running back. No one that I'm afraid of as a DC, but I do respect his game.
That's fair. That's how I look at it. All right. I guess one of my favorite ones to bring up, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Slot guy, gives you a little bit of different appeals, whether it's, as a gadget type of player, getting the crossers. Catch radius is a concern, and yak yards or breaking tackles. But, if he can get his hands on the ball, he can be a little bit dynamic in terms of creativity. So, he was that way, at Nebraska in college. So I just don't know what happened in the pros.
Paulson Adebo.
He's a player that, for me, he's good. He's just not as good as I'm thinking most people are trying to make him to be. He's a good CB1, but you got to make sure he fits in the system. Playmaker on the football. So, he does get those interceptions. So he's good there. But, sometimes he can be a little bit too aggressive and he can get beat, especially with double moves. So, I'm going to be watching for that as the season goes along.
Nice. Drew Phillips.
I love him. Nasty little slot guy. He'll come up and play the run, and he'll be aggressive. He sticks with his receiver, whether he's playing in the slot. You can't really get away from him. He's always there, and he's aggressive in the tackle. So he's physical. So I would have loved to have seen him be 6'2", 250. That would have been. I think he would be a perfect linebacker because he has that mentality for it.
One of our favorites on the show, Jermaine Illuminor.
Man, what can I say? Versatility. He's a great follow on Twitter for anybody who's not following him. So his interaction, but very smart. Love his story. Coming, I believe he came from England to the United States, played in Jersey, and then went to Penn State. But again, playing the left tackle, left tackle, right tackle, guard, has the right mindset, very fundamentally sound. I just love watching him play. So he's what I call the perfect sexy fatty. That's what I call offensive lineman. So
He's calling people fat again.
Right, there you go. Nice.
I apologize, all the heavy people watching.
Let's go Andrew Thomas.
AT has all the tools to eventually one day be a gold jacket, but my biggest concern is availability. That's really what it boils down to. But he has the technique, he has the mindset, the smarts, the strength, the footwork. He's the perfect tackle, to be honest with you. But I need him on the field. That's what it boils down to.
All right. We got one more each we're going to go with here. So Rob gets the extra. Micah McFadden.
Oh,
loved him. Love him, love him. I know some people don't. Been following him since Indiana days. Every year at Indiana, he's progressed, and right now he's following that trend for me. He's improving every year. Does need to shore up his missed tackle rates, but I mean, he's smart. He knows where he's supposed to be, and if he could really hone in the missed tackles, I think his game would go even higher.
Nice.
Anybody else got a Creed song in their head now?
Can you
take me higher?
Great. Now the young crowd, 6'7".
Yeah, or hip. Nothing is more hip than Creed.
All right, let's end on a fast.
Coach Ed's like, let me give you the long list of things more hip than Creed.
The memes about Creed. Let's go off fast. Let's talk about Hyatt.
He's not meeting his potential because that speed, if he could really be a true NFL wide receiver, he could be very dynamic. I don't think he needs to just be one-dimensional, the vertical threat. Hone the route running because your game would really expand. And, for example, if you could hit those hitches and those comebacks, the things that DBs would have to, it would open up your game because they're going to drop and it's going to give you the opportunity to make simple catches that you can turn around and be a dynamic playmaker. So improve your route running.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on with us here today. Had a lot of fun with you. Mm-hmm. Hopefully didn't make you blush too bad. Talk about Sponge Bass and WNBA games and all kinds of craziness here. Listen, the name is Two Giant Goofballs. It's in the name. It's part of it there. If we don't, we act all serious if you get like false advertising charges against us. So we don't make enough money on YouTube to go ahead and pay those kind of fees.
No.
Now, anybody wants to go and buymeacoffee.com/Two Giant Goofballs, that would definitely help us do that. Just saying. But before we get out of here again, I'm going to put your link in there again into the chat here for people. But do me a favor, let everybody know where they can find all your work, what kind of work you do specifically on your channel as well, so we can get people interested. Give us the pitch. Give us the elevator pitch.
It's Coach Ed Gladney's Amazing World of Sports, and that's Ed with 2 Ds. So that's the easiest way that you can find me. You can find me there. I'm on basically all the social media is different. I'm not going to go into all the different tag names that I use. I cover all sports. I mean, football, I'm focused right now on college football. I do the WNBA. I've done NBA, college basketball. Actually, I've even done arena football because I'm very familiar with that. I'm going to be getting into high school football, so I'm going to try and cover everything, a lot of it more so with football. I'm going to be focused right now releasing a lot of college football because as Giants fan, I want to try and get as much information on a lot of the players. So this way, when anybody asks me, I can tell you, give you information on as many players as I can. So, but like I said, hit me up on Coach Ed Gladney's Amazing World of Sports.
All right. Again, appreciate you having on. Guys, we are going to call it a night here. So we'll be back again, of course, Wednesday night for you guys when we do our preview of the Week 2 preseason game, talking about the Jets. Because when you're a Jet, you haven't won it forever. Yes, that's how hip we are. We're into West Side Story, Coach Ed. What now?
I thought that was, yes.
Which is like, by the way, the most ridiculous musical. And that's saying a lot. There was one that was going around for like 30 years in the Winter Garden Theater, people dressed up as cats. And like, you're telling me seriously that there would ever be a time where people would go pirouetting through the streets in a gang in New York. Like, no, you'd be shanked in a second. Imagine if there was like a Warriors and West Side Story combo put together at that point. I'm just saying. I think we know who would win.
Now to play.
There we
go. So, guys, again, we'll be back Wednesday. As always, we are live on our preferred platform, YouTube, along with Facebook, Twitter /X, Twitch, and, of course, Rob's favorite.
Oh, jeez.
He missed his cue. Yes, my LinkedIn profile. And, of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms, well, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon, all the big ones there. Guys, if you haven't already, I don't know why, because we've asked you like 10 times this show alone, but hit that damn subscribe button, hit the like, hit the share, tell a friend about the show. Again, as always, we suck at marketing, guys. If we don't have you helping us out, then no one's here, basically. And listen, we had a lot of people in the chat today. Appreciate you guys all for coming on there. New people as well, a couple, I think, as well there. So appreciate you guys coming on. Again, every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, we are live 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also game day coverage as well. Usually we'll do a play-by-play if we're not at the game, which might happen once or twice this year. And of course, a post-game show right after the show ends as well. Again, if anybody else is going to be at the Patriots preseason game with the Giants there, Rob and I will be live from the stadium on that day there, because I have to trek all the way up 20-hour drive. Well, no, I'm flying, but have to go up to Jersey for a high school reunion for my wife. So therefore, I will be in town for that one. So we're going. So hope to see some people there as well. We'll be walking around, greeting, handing out business cards, using the whole trip as a tax write-off. But that's a whole different thing there. Again, appreciate you guys for listening in as always. And as always, Giant fans,
Go G-Man! Go G-Man! G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you.